Hi, I'm Jacob with the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors, and today I'm here to give you my first impressions on the Schrade Schf36. Alright, let's take a closer look at this thing. So the Schrade Schf36 is another knife from Schrade that I expected not to like. Whether or not I'll ever be able to love it, I won't find out till I do a very long-term review. But so far, I am impressed with it. First thing that we will talk about today is the blade. The blade is 5 inches long, as you guys have seen. The choil, whether that's about the blade or the handle, it's a little bit of both, but I think it's nicely done. Basically, what this knife is known for is being a tank. 5-inch blade, super thick, super beefy, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it. It feels pretty good in hands. I think that they did a decent job on the edge. I had to touch it up a little bit, but it's basically on the money. I do have one small gripe. That is that this is a hollow ground knife. There are some advantages and disadvantages to that, and it makes it easy to have thick stock and bring it down to a thin edge, and for production, it's quicker. So they're saving money on time, maybe money on belts. But typically they're gonna be weaker than a flat grind, whether it be saber, full, flat, or a convex grind. So we're gonna have to see how it holds up in that regard. The handles are something that I didn't actually expect to like. They have an interesting geometry. It's a little bit funky, kind of like a 2-finger section up here, a jimping on the thumb ramp, but choking past the thumb ramp, it works perfectly. Using the thumb ramp back on the handle, it works great. And choking back on it, and it's got jimping down here, choking back on it for light chopping is wonderful, especially if you have a really decent lanyard. So all I can say is that I am, again, impressed. TPE scales, I'm sure they're fine. They're probably indestructible. I've got a little something to show you guys about that later for some custom scales. But we'll talk about that later. Overall, my first impressions, again, better than expected. And what can you say about the sheath? It's production Cordura nylon. Nothing really fancy, nothing really crazy. Removable belt loop, which is nice with Velcro. Button snap. It's got a little pouch in the front pocket. One cool thing about Schrade is obviously the price and the value of what you're getting. So the front pouch it comes with a ferro rod and a striker. That's really cool for someone starting out. It also comes with a sharpening stone. I don't know that I trust the sharpening stone for anything, but all in all, it's an acceptable sheath. It's not bad. So overall, for my initial impressions, I expected to really not like this knife. Other knives in this category, the 5-inch ultimate survival destruction abuse knife, I have really not liked. But because of the handle geometry and the little bit thinner edge, I actually do like this Schrade. Now, what I was alluding to earlier, I have some surprises for this knife, or some testing that's going to be above and beyond. I'm going to try, after my full review of this knife, which won't be up for a long time, to modify this knife and see how far we can take it with performance. So, the first thing that I'm going to do, the full review of this knife is going to be completely in stock form. I'm not going to do anything special to the edge, the finish, or the scales. We're going to review this knife as it comes from the factory with the sheath that it comes from the factory. But after I'm done with that, what I have in store for this thing, these are GKC custom Micarta scales for this knife. I've put them on just because I was impatient and I couldn't wait. They take this knife by themselves to the next level. And GKC Outfitters, they do a great price on them. I'll put that in some text below because I don't remember exactly what that is. But I'm going to put a link to them in the box below so you can get this knife. What I plan on doing, get this knife. I'm going to find someone who does an affordable Kydex sheath for it because I don't want to throw a ton of money on it because what it is, it would defeat the purpose. I'm going to find an affordable Kydex sheath for it, strip the finish, thin the edge a little bit, and put these micarta scales on it and see if this can become a knife that will stand regardless of price point. See if we can buy something cheap and make it phenomenal. And I have a feeling that we will be able to do that. The only thing I'm worried about is if the heat treat isn't just right on this 1095, when we thin this edge, we are going to uncover any mistakes that they made. If they screwed up the heat treat on this knife, you might never know it in stock form with the thicker edge because the thick edge gives enough just meat there to kind of be a band-aid to any mistakes in the process. Once you thin down that edge, you're going to see whether or not they screwed anything up. But if they didn't screw anything up, it raises the performance bar hugely. Having a thinner edge will change an entire knife, hands down. So, I cannot wait to put this thing to the test. Very excited about this knife. I do so many reviews on more expensive knives, and I'm not a Schrade fanboy, and from the get-go I was actually fairly anti-Schrade, but every time I get my hands on one of their products, my expectations have been exceeded. So, we'll see how this goes. If you're interested in seeing this knife being thoroughly tested and then modified, in my long-term review would be the how this performed when fully modified. Please subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you have any ideas of something special that I should do with this knife in the full review, let me know. My favorite thing about YouTube is talking to you guys in the comment section, so make sure to hit me up. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.